I'm going to use a controversial term here, so before I do, let me clarify exactly what it is I mean. We've referred to season arc episodes and then one-offs or Monster of the Week episodes. One-offs aren't necessarily intrinsically bad. There are a number of one-offs in Buffy that do very little to forward the season arc, or big bad storyline, but are still some of the best episodes of the show. The reason for that is the episodes still manage to grow our characters. They show us things about them that we didn't know. Then there are episodes like Some Assembly Required. Some Assembly Required does nothing for the season arc and, with one exception, doesn't really forward our characters. That one exception is Giles and Miss Calendar go on a date. It isn't outright bad like some of the smoking piles in Season 1, but I would apply the usual rule. If you're not quite hooked yet and looking to get to the good stuff, I would give this one a skip. My main problem with this episode is it's totally uneven. There are some wonderful scenes. The first one, for instance. Buffy and Angel deal with the fallout of her Xander dance.
Is it because I danced with him?
Danced with is a pretty loose term. Mated with might be a little closer.
In the midst of their adorable couples fight, Buffy discovers grave robbers by falling into an open grave. Then there's the next scene where Giles frets over asking out Jenny Calendar. I love these characters and could probably be entertained with 40 minutes of just watching them hang out. It's this episode's plot that falls flat for me. In the hallways, we see Sunnydale's Screech and Ginger Unibrow are creeping out the female students.
Cordelia is so fine. You know, she'd be just perfect for us.
Don't be an idiot. She's alive.
Guess they're the grave robbers. The gang figures out who the body snatchers are, Screech, Unibrow, and his reanimated brother, and foil their attempt to steal Cordelia to finish their Bride of Frankenstein. The gruesome trio try again at the big game, and Buffy saves the day in a not very exciting climax. The writer David King only wrote 2 episodes for the series, this one and Passion, one of the best episodes in Season 2. In one of the DVD commentaries, Marty Noxon said if you're watching an episode and a really great line comes up, it was probably Joss who wrote it. I suspect Whedon had a lot to do with Passion, as well as a lot to do with what works in this episode. It's just such a tonal mishmash. Your typical Buffy wit followed by bizarre cheese. Take the scene where Frankenstein brother convinces little brother to murder a woman so he can have a girlfriend.
3rd and long. Seconds to go. Where do you throw? Where do you throw?
I could take the dialogue as parody or humorous, but the music seems to be telling me I'm supposed to take the scene seriously. And yet it's a scene where a Frankenstein high schooler is using a football metaphor to convince his brother to murder him a girlfriend. Are we supposed to feel sorry for his little brother we've known for all of one episode? It's all very confusing, and as a result I just cringed. But like any mediocre Buffy episode, there is an interesting core here somewhere beneath the mundane. There are 3 parallel stories about dating and relationships: Angel and Buffy, Giles and Miss Calendar, and the Frankenstein and his bride. In addition, you still have Xander lusting for Buffy and Willow for Xander. The episode feels like it wants to say something about our need for companionship and how that is mitigated by death. It just never really coalesces into an interesting message for me because it's sabotaged by its adherence to the Monster of the Week formula. In this case, Bride of Frankenstein. Once again, all the best scenes occur when the episode isn't concerned with its central plot. The first and last scenes with Buffy, Xander's speech about love, and Xander and Willow bemoaning their loneliness. What I'm trying to say is you could take all those best scenes, cut the Bride of Frankenstein plot, and drop them into any other episode, and they would be just as good. They wouldn't have lost anything because they're just floating inside Some Assembly Required, not gluing it together. In contrast, if you took some of the good scenes out of an upcoming great one-off, Halloween, and put them somewhere else in the season, they wouldn't make any sense. There's good stuff in any Buffy episode, but that to me is the difference between a great one-off episode of Buffy and a filler episode of Buffy. Maybe the problem is, like many of the Monster of the Week episodes, it lacks a compelling bad guy that we can relate to, root for, or understand. They're all just one-note super beings with no charisma. I even found the Master kind of bland. Wonder what we can do about that.